Fellas, welcome back. Today, in light of recent news regarding a possible $1,000 LEGO set coming in 2025, that being the Death Star, I started wondering what else LEGO could realistically make at the $1,000 price point, or maybe even more. So, that's gonna be the video today, or whatever. I think we should first look at what other Star Wars models LEGO can make. Now, depending on whether or not this set will depict the Death Star 2, or my prediction, the option to display either, that could be the next option. If the model this year is only the first Death Star, I wouldn't be surprised if LEGO makes another model for the Death Star 2, but that definitely wouldn't be for a while because fans would be pretty disappointed if the first two sets for a brand were both Death Stars. Now, it's probably disappointing, but I think the most likely next $1,000 set would be the next UCS Millennium Falcon. First off, that $800 initial price in 2017 is over $1,000 adjusted for inflation now, so it wouldn't even have to be that much bigger for LEGO to justify that price jump. I think the success of the current Falcon signals to LEGO that they probably wouldn't want to go more than a year and a half without having a massive Falcon on shelves. If they release another one, I think it would have to be over $1,000 to be considered an upgrade. I think what could be the coolest $1,000 LEGO set would be some sort of iconic location build, so basically a massive diorama, like a lot of the mocks in the LEGO community. I don't think they would release a location that's not from the original trilogy at that price point because they would argue it's not iconic enough. So even though Kashyyyk or Geonosis would be the coolest setting in my opinion, I think Hoth or Endor is most likely. I think it could include a decent amount of playscale models of vehicles, like the Hoth one could have snowspeeders and AT-ATs, and Endor could have speeder bikes and AT-STs. Hoth could have a lot of trenches with cannons, maybe the front gate to Echo Base, and Endor could have a smaller Ewok village, the bunker, and maybe that Imperial landing zone too, in addition to a ton of beautiful landscaping and minifigs in both models. Lastly, I think another Star Destroyer, or probably more likely a revamped Super Star Destroyer, would be another likely candidate. I say the Executor is more likely because the regular one retired just a few years ago, and we haven't seen the Super one in a decade and a half, probably nearing 2 decades by the time this set would be released. I think a revamped Executor would not only be more detailed and smooth over the 2011 version, but I think making it a band would allow it to reclaim its title as the longest LEGO set after the Titanic took that away. That's probably my pick for what would be my favorite of the most realistic choices for LEGO Star Wars to make. While other options could maybe be some of the massive Rebel Command ships, I just don't think they're as iconic as the Imperial stuff, so the ones I've listed are pretty much all I think are likely within the next decade. Although what I think could be the coolest set, while a bit unrealistic, could be an awesome space battle diorama. I kind of envision a black wall background with white circular tiles to represent stars, or maybe there would be printed panels or bricks. Then models of command ships like the Nebulon B frigate, Home 1, or Star Destroyers could be built in midi scale and could be attached at numerous points in the back wall. The floor would also be black with star details, and it would have play scale models attached at various heights with clear beams. The smaller scale of the sets in the back could work as a really cool forced perspective. I'd probably want to see the Battle of Endor because that has the highest variety of ships, like we could have all the Rebel ships, A, B, Y, and X-Wings, as well as both TIE Interceptors and regular fighters. Oh, and these would all be in the 2014 to 2018 scale, not the modern downsized models. Plus, there could also be something cool like half a ship falling down with fire burning or something. If it's Endor, there could also be like a mosaic of Endor or the Death Star 2 in the background, but like I said, I think there's an extremely low possibility of this happening even though I think it'd be awesome. I think Star Wars is definitely still the most likely candidate for the next $1,000 set, and LEGO's next most popular licensed theme, Marvel, is probably the next most likely candidate. I think the most iconic or biggest set they could have made was the Avengers Tower, so unless they re-release it way too soon, I can't see many other options at that massive price point. Maybe they could release it at a similar scale but recolor it to make it more gray, and then add a lot of details to make it a massive Battle of New York from the first Avengers movie. I guess something they could do is make a base for the tower, like I think it's supposed to be on top of the MetLife building or something, with a lot of battle details and Chitauri stuff around it. It's definitely a reach, but it could happen. I think the most likely Marvel movies for them to do are the original Avengers movie or Infinity War and Endgame. However, there aren't many possible $1,000 sets that could be made from those films. Maybe a juggernaut of a helicarrier from the original Avengers could be possible, but probably not too plausible. For Infinity War and Endgame, I think the only possible set that's not a massive recreation of the battles of Wakanda, Titan, or Avengers Compound could maybe be Thanos' massive ship. Since I don't see any of those happening realistically, I think the most likely Marvel set for $1,000 would be a similar build to the 2018 Cloud City, but scaled up. It could have a quarter dedicated to a diorama from each Avengers film, likely the Battle of New York from Avengers 1, Sokovia from Age of Ultron, Wakanda or Titan from Infinity War, and the Avengers Compound from Endgame. The dividers could also be used as walls that could have details that serve as the background of each scene, like the walls could have a tiny 2D Avengers tower for the first film, for example. And then the last licensed theme that I could see getting $1,000 $1,000 set is Harry Potter, where I could totally see them upscaling Hogwarts. I think it could be a similar design silhouette as the 2018 version, but with space for minifigs and detailing inside. Even though I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, I think that Hogwarts set is awesome, and I can't deny how cool it would be for LEGO to release it at an even bigger scale with even more insane details. To be honest though, I don't see LEGO realistically making many other things from HP in this scale. And then, as much as we would all like to see LEGO designers given total creative freedom to make whatever they want with a $1,000 budget, I don't think LEGO would think that anything that's of their own creation would be profitable enough at that high of a price. So, as much as everyone would love to see a massive classic castle or space set, or maybe a huge Bionicle tribute, or my personal favorite, a customizable Ninjago City to recreate all the season finales that occur there, I don't see a world where that happens. I just can't imagine LEGO making anything that doesn't exist in major media or in the real world. With that being said, let's take a look at what could be made out of real life things. Probably not what you expected, but considering how much LEGO loves NASA, I think a huge set is definitely a possibility. Unfortunately, I don't think there could really be anything that LEGO hasn't made before. I'd love to see the 2021 shuttle with one of those massive rocket boosters, but since the shuttle was made so recently and LEGO just released the Artemis station, this probably isn't the most likely option. I think we're much more likely to see a huge International Space Station or Apollo rocket. The ISS would be a pain to build, move, and handle the weight of the thing with all the little things that stick out, but the details would just be sick. The Apollo rocket is much more likely and would probably be cooler too, in my opinion, especially considering how well the original idea set did. If they wanted to go crazy, they could give us a model of the solar system with moving planets, which would also be cool, but wouldn't appeal to as wide of an audience in my opinion. Another likely category for LEGO to make would be iconic real-life landmarks. They already made what's probably the most well-known thing, that being the Eiffel Tower as well as the Colosseum, which were probably both considered for the $1,000 price just based on their piece count, so luckily it seems like real-life icons would be a bit better in value. Other things they could depict could maybe be the Statue of Liberty for my fellow American patriots, or maybe the Taj Mahal or Great Wall of China, which could also have some beautiful landscaping. There could also be another one of those multi-diorama things like I proposed for the Marvel one with all 7 wonders of the world, even though there seems to be a debate on what they are, and a lot of them deal with religion, which LEGO doesn't love working with all the time. And of course, they could make what would be the best landmark, the Chicago Bean. And while there are a lot of other ideas that I think would be cool, like a huge 3D map of New York, London, Paris, etc., I think that about does it for at least the semi-realistic things LEGO could make for $1,000. I am probably the least creative person on the planet, so let me know what else you think LEGO could make for $1,000 in the comments below. With that being said, thanks so much for joining me on this video today, and fellas, have a wonderful day.